everyone, and welcome to another episode of Easy Eats for Everyone. Today we're going to be making egg muffin cups. Before we get started, please remember to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, pull up your hair, and if you can't social distance, grab a mask. We'll see you in a moment. So if you get one of our egg kits this week, you're going to notice a few different ingredients. They will vary. You're going to be getting a dozen eggs. You'll be getting some spinach and some kale. You'll be getting a form of breakfast meat. It might be bacon, might be a little bit of corned beef, or even might be some sausage. You'll be getting some diced onion, some cheese, some potato, and a little bit of a salt and pepper mix. From your home, you will need either milk or water, cooking spray, a muffin tin, a bowl, and a whisk. If you don't have a whisk at home, that's okay. You can use a fork. Before we get started, also please make sure to check your oven that there's nothing inside of it, and then preheat it to 375 degrees. So we are going to be making our egg muffins two different ways. The first way, we're just going to be using egg whites. You can do this easily, cracking your egg by using half of your shell to keep the yolk in and gently pouring it back and forth to separate the yolk from the whites. That's the clear part of this. And you really want to try to get as much of the whites as possible. If you're baking, sometimes you keep the egg yolk for something else. In this case, we're just going to throw it out. We're going to do an example of how to do this with 3 eggs to start. And again, the key is to make sure that you're just gently pouring the yolk back and forth to try to separate the whites from the yolk. You'll notice that this is now clear. So if you didn't have any shell in here, you could literally just pick it out and keep on going. Next, we're going to add a pinch of our salt and pepper mix. The salt and pepper mix you're going to be getting in your kits is already pre-mixed with a good ratio of salt and pepper. A lot of times in restaurants, you might see someone pitch into something that looks like salt and pepper and throw it on meats or even vegetables. That's because they pre-season their salt and pepper, so it's ready to go. We are going to add a small amount of milk. You do not have to really measure this out. You're going to do about a tablespoon. If you don't want to use milk, you can use water and it will work exactly the same. We're going to use our whisk and we're going to mix this together. Now you might say, looks like we're making scrambled eggs. We kind of are, but we're making them in muffin tins. And again, make sure that your surface is clean before you use it and that you are aware of what you're putting down on your surface so that you can clean it up afterwards. Using our spray, we're going to spray the bottom of the muffin tins. Again, your kit will come with enough to do 12. We're going to do 6 right now. You're going to pour the egg mixture halfway into the tins. Now a little note, when we make this our second way with the egg yolk, when you add that yolk, it actually is going to rise a little bit more, so that's a warning, you're not going to fill it as high. Now comes the fun part. You can put whatever you want in each of these muffin tins. So it's nice because you might have 4 people and each of them are getting 3. And maybe someone likes cheese. And someone likes cheese, but they also really like a little bit of onion in there. Maybe someone says, no cheese for me, but I would like some spinach. I like vegetables in mine. You could do spinach. We could throw in a little bit of kale. You could put in some broccoli, some mushrooms. You could really do whatever you would like in here. And then that way, everyone kind of knows what they like. I do suggest using the rows to be able to separate who's eating what. Now, on our other side, we're going to do the exact same thing, except for we're not separating the yolk. So this time, we're going to crack our egg and put the whole thing in there. Again, because we can see the bottom of our bowl, we'll know if we get any shell in there. If you do, not a big deal. Just pick it out. You will not be the first person to get eggshell in a bowl. A suggestion also is if you're doing both of these kind, do the ones that are just the yolk first, just the whites first. That way, anyone who doesn't want the yolk won't have to eat the yolk. the bottom of the bowl, and you don't have to keep on switching out your bowls. Now you'll notice this time we have this yellow color instead of the clear color, and that is because of the yolk. We're going to again add a tiny bit of milk. You do not have to use milk at all. We're doing it just to switch up the consistency and let it froth a little bit more. Again, really making sure get most of it off of the whisk. And now, just like we did before, we're gonna pour it into our muffin tin. Now this one I'm gonna pour all the way because I'm not gonna put anything in this one, so you can see what happens when you put a little bit too much in here. You'll see how big it gets. But the other two, I'm gonna pour just about halfway. And again, just like we did with this side, we're gonna add some of our favorite toppings in here. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. With the yolk, you really wanna control how much salt you're putting in because the yolk already adds a little bit more of an unhealthy component, so we don't overly do salt. And the other thing is once you add your ingredients, you'll notice that the yolk and whites combined will absorb a little bit more, so you really wanna control that. This one here, I'm gonna do a little bit of a cheese, like a meat lover here. And again, back here, I'm gonna stick with our veggies. This time I'm gonna add some spinach and potatoes. What's also nice about this is a great way for you to use ingredients that you already have in your house that you might have already used earlier in the week and cook them, eat them before you have to throw them out or they go bad. So for example, say you had French fries the night before and you didn't really want to reheat your French fries and they were gonna sit in the fridge, cut them up, throw them in your eggs. Say maybe you had a salad and you had some extra spinach left over, throw that in too. Maybe you made tacos and you have extra taco meat and you want to make taco eggs. Go right ahead. You can really make these whatever way you want. We're going to put these in the oven now, 375 degrees for 15 to 18 minutes. We're going to check them. Let me grab my oven mitt. Always using our oven mitt, we're going to open the door. Place this inside. Set your timer for 15 minutes. If they're not done, check them in 3 minutes longer at 18 minutes. We'll see you in a moment. So we actually took about 18 minutes to cook these. They've been out of the oven for just a few minutes to settle. And what I want you to notice is the difference. This is our egg white versus our egg white and yolk. Again, you'll notice the yolk has actually made this poof up a little bit more. It's that yolk that's gonna add to the consistency. That's why a lot of times when you have cakes, you'll notice that it calls for a full egg. You're gonna also see here what's nice is that these just pop right out of the muffin tin. What does that mean? That means you have breakfast on the go. That means you have a healthy alternative to grabbing maybe a snack bar in the morning or grabbing a granola bar, where now you can grab this on the go, grab one or two of these with a napkin. If you have to head out the door, you can have a healthy, nutritious, and easy breakfast. Boom, you're on your way and there's no waiting. What's nice about these also is because you can pre-make them and hold them in the refrigerator for a few days, you can also just warm them up in the microwave on a plate. You could even freeze these. They do hold for a few days. I would not suggest holding them longer than about 3 days, 5 at the max. But you could throw these in the freezer in an airtight container, throw them in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and again, out the door you go. Don't forget, here at Easy Eats, we want cooking to be fun and easy for everyone. We'll see you soon.